All right, General Motors is out with its second straight full-year guidance raise. The hike comes after strong second quarter results powered by trucks and SUVs. I talked with General Motors CFO Paul Jacobson about the guidance increase quarter and the road ahead for EV production.
When you look at the momentum in the business, really nothing has changed from what we said at the very beginning, which is a strong consumer demand for our products, resulting in really good pricing for us across the board. When you factor that in with our cost-cutting measures and some of the early returns on that, you get a quarter like we put up and an opportunity to raise expectations, which really proud to do on behalf of all of us here at GM.
Paul, is this yet another quarter where the power of selling more trucks, those higher margin trucks, really shows itself?
You know, that's exactly right, Brian. At the end of the day, it's really about the quality products that customers demand. And what we've seen is our customers can't get our trucks and our SUVs fast enough, including the higher trim models. When you look at the Sierra Denali and the Tahoe premium vehicles, about 75% of them are selling at higher end premium trims. So customers have responded with loving the products and willing to pay for them. And that's what's resulted in these fantastic outcomes that we've seen.
How do you explain this to the average Joe out there, these results, Paul? And by that I mean the economy isn't rip-roaring. You know, nobody's celebrating slower economic growth. You know, this isn't a late 1990s type of economy where things are hot. But here's GM, strong results for higher priced products year over year.
Well, I think, you know, this is still a little bit of a factor of some of the pent-up demand that we saw from 2020 and then the chip shortages in 2021 and 2022, where, you know, customers really love their vehicles. And, you know, it's an incredibly important purchase for them. And it's one that they budget for and they make sure that they can fit in because it's really a reflection of their lifestyle and what they want to drive. So we've seen that continue with those demands. In fact, you know, over the last year, we've actually created a higher trim level in response to that customer demand with the Denali Ultimate. And that's an opportunity for us to go in, identify what customers are looking for and create a product that they're willing to pay for. And we've seen that. So, you know, it doesn't happen without quality. It doesn't happen without knowing what your customer is looking for. And that's where I'm incredibly proud of the GM team.
So General Motors hit its first half goal for EV production, 50,000. How many EVs will you make in the second part of this year?
So we're still on track for 50,000 in the first half and 100,000 in the second half. Our Ultium production is ramping up very quickly, as we've seen. At the end of June, we had over 2,000 Lyrics and Hummers that were in transit to dealers. And, you know, as we know with our products, once they hit the dealers' lots, they're sold very quickly. In fact, we've got pre-orders that we're still fulfilling. So we're gonna about double EV production in the second half of the year and continue to scale up from there. So the momentum is building. We've known this for a little while now, and that momentum, you know, when you combine it with the tangible results, I think is a great story for investors as well.
What's the pricing outlook on those EVs? Because there's been a lot of focus on price cuts in the EV space. Your competitor Ford out there cutting prices in large part because of what Tesla's doing with its own prices.
Yeah, you know, we're very comfortable with where our products are priced, and when you look at the demand that we've seen and the order books that we've built, you know, our biggest challenge right now is we can't get the vehicles to customers fast enough, and we're working on scaling that pretty quickly. But we've been very consistent about pricing to where our demand is. I think when you change pricing that dramatically, that fast, you create confusion in the customer's minds. And, you know, I don't want to be the person who bought an EV the day before you lowered the price by $10,000. That's not a great way to manage customer expectations. And that's why we've been consistent. You know, we've seen this happening for probably pretty close to a year around EVs. And, you know, while we're ramping up production and fulfilling orders, our customers have told us that we believe these vehicles are fairly priced. So we're going to continue to do that and make sure that we're responding to where the demand is.
What's the vibe inside General Motors, Paul? Is something like the Cybertruck, is that a true competitor to the Silverado EV?
Well, when you look at the Silverado EV and its capabilities, 40% more range than anything else that's out there. We're very confident in what that is. I think what we've got to do is just keep our heads down, continue to execute, build what the customers are looking for, and we think the business results will speak for themselves. So our team is all in on really driving those production rates higher. And I think when you start to see that Silverado EV in our fleet customers' hands first, you're going to start to see some testimonials that really differentiate it from anything else that's out there. And we're excited about that.
Since we last spoke, big deal between General Motors and Tesla on the supercharger front. As the CFO of General Motors, what type of financial impact is baked into your financial statements from a deal like that, if any?
Yeah, well, there's nothing very specific that you can point to in the financial statements. But when you think about the capital journey that we're on, not just for GM but for the entire industry, you want to try to streamline where you can, and where we see an opportunity in the partnership with Tesla is, we immediately double the number of available chargers that are there for our customers going forward. But most importantly, we focus not just for our customers, but for the industry as well on a more efficient solution across the board. So we're not building competing charging sets on opposite street corners in every intersection. And these economies that are going to result from Tesla, from GM, from Ford, and others that may join in the future is going to result in a much more streamlined experience for customers all over the place.
CEO Mary Barra, General Motors, of course, really highlighted in her shareholder letter on the earnings release, Paul, more cost cuts could be happening. What is your overall cost cut goal now, and where do you think those cuts will come from?
Yeah, so we announced earlier this year a $2 billion cost reduction program. We had a voluntary severance program, and we had over 5,000 people choose to depart or retire early from the company, resulting in about $1 billion of run rate savings going forward.